Well, it's time to do my first oil change, so if you want to watch, stick around. Alright, to do the oil change in my 6.7, I have 13 quarts, actually 14 quarts, but there's 2.5 gallons and another gallon, so 3.5 gallons, which is 12 plus another 2 is 14, but I only need 13. Putting the drain plug in, we'll talk more about that later, and crescent, oil filter removal, funnel. So what I need for installation or changing my oil is the oil. I'm using 1540. In the manual it's good for 20 degrees Fahrenheit and up, and I live in South Louisiana, so it hardly ever gets below 20 degrees, especially not in September. So there's the oil. You need a FL 2051S straight from the manual. You need the funnel, the oil filter removal, the crescent wrench, and then because of the location of the drain, I'm going to put this easy drain oil on with a nub for a hose. So in the future, when I change it, I won't make a mess, because I'm guessing, based on the location of the drain plug, I'm going to make a mess this time. So I'm going to try not to, but it appears that it's in the same spot as that F150 that I had, in a really bad place. So and then it's going to have 13 quarts of oil pressure behind it. So we'll go down there and look, but that's what you need to change the oil. As you can see, the filter is easy to get to, and the drain plug is on the back of the pan, so it's gonna be a guessing game where it actually shoots to, which is why I want to put a hose on there. So I will get down here and start draining the oil, and then I will take the filter off, and then I'll replace the filter. But that is the plan right now. So alright, so I'm down here looking at it from this angle. So the first step is I'm going to remove the drain plug and try to catch as much oil as I can in my large catch can or pan. So let's do that. Alright, here we go. Here's the guessing part. How far does it go when it shoots out of here? One of the things I didn't mention, or maybe I did, I'm going to be using 1540 because I live in South Louisiana and it never gets that particularly cold. Okay, I have it out, so let's see how far this goes. Try to do this without making a huge mess. I didn't do too bad that time. And then I drop it in. But luckily, I'm replacing the bolt, so I won't have to go oil dipping. But as you can tell, there's, 13 quarts, a couple gallons of oil in there. So the next step is I'm going to get my new easy drain plug ready. I'll link it in the description. I bought it on Amazon, of course, free shipping and all that good stuff. So, so you know where to get it. And I am an Amazon associate, so if you do that, you'll be helping me out. Appreciate it. This is pretty cool. It's got like an O-ring built into it. It's open right now. So to close it, it's got a lock position. So once I get it in, I will close it. The other thing is I need to put the little drain, the hose, straight hose in right there. And again, this came as a package. It was in the same package with the actual valve. Uh-oh. We're getting to the end of the big oil drain. As you can tell, this is pretty easy as long as you don't make a huge mess, which I have been known to do, which I know you find surprising. The next thing I'm going to do is install my easy drain. As you were watching, it takes a lot of oil. This is a, I think it's, I just read it, 14 millimeter by 1.5 thread pitch. It's going to go right where the factory oil plug went. And once I get it all in, I will tighten it up and close the valve, and then we'll move on to removing the oil filter. There we go. So I'm going to tighten this down. First I'm going to close it. The valve is now locked shut. And I am going to tighten it down a wee bit. Not like torque down, but tight. Wait for my oil all to drain out going down the road. I want the valve up at the top so that it can't be hit by any road debris. So I put the latch on the top so it won't be hit by anything. And we'll tighten this up just a wee bit. So the body itself is tight. Now I'm just tightening the hose end. If I can get this to, come on, you. There we go. There we go. I don't want to lose that. I think you can buy them separately, but it'd just be a pain, so. There we go. We're tight. Valve's closed. Look at that. I did it with no mess. Now's the time that I'm going to make the mess. I'm going to take this oil filter off, and I'm sure that I'll make a mess. All right, I've I put the easy drain valve in. I've got the valve lock closed. And now my next step is to remove the old oil filter and put the new oil filter on. So that's our next trick. As you see, I'm using my handy dandy oil filter strap wrench. Feels like it's cross-threaded. I hope that isn't the case. Alright, and I've done this before when I had a 7.3 IDI. Taking the oil filter off, and I dropped it into the oil, and needless to say, it was a mess, to say the least. Of course, I made a little mess this time, but do not drop it into the oil or you will have a big mess. Of course, it's getting slippery as hell. I just let it drain out. Hopefully I don't get it on my Canon GF7X2. And remember to put a little bit of oil on your the seal for the oil filter before it goes on, so that it seals up to the block. As you can tell, even my fat ass can get under here without jacking or ramps or anything like that. So you can definitely do this in your driveway. There we go. And look, there's no, this is a good thing to check. notice how there is no seal on the bottom of this, and I'm verifying it with my eyes, but the seal came off the filter, and it's still stuck to the housing. And I know this from experience, even though it was like 30 years ago. So I am filming this real quick because some reason my camera shut off when I was talking about making sure the filter gasket was off the housing or the block. 30 years ago I was changing the oil in my Ford Ranger, and I was younger then, not quite as wise, and I didn't notice that the rubber gasket had stayed stuck to the block. So I put a new filter on, filled her up, started it up, and it was just pumping the oil right out of the motor onto the ground. So I had to start all over, and it cost me 5-6 quarts of oil because of my lack of attention. So anyways, make sure you have that off of there. And the other thing is, I just put the filter back on. It just screws on, and we'll go from there. Alright, right there is the dipstick and the oil fill. So I'm going to set the camera up so you can watch me put 13 quarts in this puppy. Alright, so I took the cap off, and now put my handy dandy ever trusty funnel in place. And now we're going to put some oil in. So I've put the funnel in, and I'm going to fill it with the 15W40. But remember that it is supposed to have the CK standard. So, and I think Rotella is one of those that has it. So here we go. This is a lot of oil. Alright, there's 10 quarts. Now I gotta put 3 more in, and then we'll give it a check. Alright, so here we have another 4 quarts, but I'm only gonna put 3 in, so I should have 1 left over in here when I get done. There's 2 quarts, so I need to go 1 more. I'm not gonna go the full 1 more right now. Do that. Let it settle down, and then we'll check it. And I know it'll take a little bit to drain through there. So, look at this dipstick. That's crazy. Alright. Whoa, I'll put your eye out. Sorry about that. And it says it's full, so I think we're good. And I still have half a quart to go, so I think once it fills the oil filter up, then I'll have to check it again, but I'm gonna run it a little bit and then check it. But there you go, that's changing your oil. Alright, so I wanted to make sure I didn't have any leaks. I got it running, I have oil pressure, and I do not see any leaks, so that's a good thing. Well, hopefully that helps you out. You know, it just shows you that you can change your oil in your driveway, and I can't even imagine what the dealer charges for an oil change. I'm not even going to call to find out, but I'm sure it's a lot more expensive than buying a filter and 3.5 gallons of oil. So if you got any questions, put them in the comments below. And again, I appreciate everybody that watches. Please give it a thumbs up, share it if you think it helps you out, and have a great day.